this video, we're going to look into chatbot and interactive voice response unit creation on WDG Automation Studio. Chatbots and IVRs can compose the WDG Intelligent Virtual Assistant, or IVA for short. The WDG Automation IVA can be implemented in either form, and we're going to look into the basics of creating each implementation now. For starters, how about we create a little Hello World script? Let's start by creating a new WAL file by clicking on New at the top left corner of the WDG Studio window. Now the first step is to use the Create a Language command. This command is used to create the language the IVA uses to communicate with the users. In this case, let's pick US English as the standard language for the bot. We will store this language in a variable called culture ENUS. Next up, we need to use the connect to chatbot or IVR command to start the connection to the chatbot. Here, we're going to use the variable we've created earlier to store the language as an input parameter to define the language the bot will use. When we use the connect to chatbot or IVR command, the disconnect chatbot or IVR command is automatically inserted into the script. Every chatbot or IVR command we use must be between these two commands. Now we use the bot says command to have the chatbot say something. We're going to use the language variable here as an input parameter again. And since this is a Hello World script, let's have the bot say, "Hello World, it's a pleasure to meet you." Let's insert a breakpoint on the bot says line to have the execution stop right before the bot says something. Now we run the script, and as you can see, the chat window shows up so we can test the chatbot during the debugging process. The execution stopped at the breaking point we inserted earlier. Let's step into the bot says command and see if the bot will say what we want it to say. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you too, bot. Everything is working as intended. This is a very simple chatbot Hello World script, so the whole process is very quick. But now, how about we try turning this chatbot Hello World into an IVR Hello World? First, we need to use a speech engine. There are several speech engine options to use in WDG Studio. You can see some of them here, like the Amazon speech engine, the Bing speech engine, the Google speech engine, among others. For this example, let's use the Watson engine. We need to insert the Watson engine command right at the beginning of the script. Let's set the language as US English like before. We must also choose the voice we want for this IVR. We're using Michael's voice for this one. We will now store the speech engine we are creating with the Watson engine command in a variable called speech engine. Next, we need to reconfigure the create a language command. Since we are now using an IVR instead of a chatbot, we need to use the variable we've created just now to store the speech engine as an input parameter here. We also need to reconfigure the connect to chatbot or IVR command. Here, we need to change the type of communication parameter from chat to IVR. It's important to emphasize, however, that this specific change is only required for debugging, so we can test this script as an IVR. In real automation context, this parameter would be ignored. Let's also set up a timeout so the IVR doesn't disconnect too fast. We're using 5 minutes as a timeout, just to be sure. We're also using the delay command right after the bot says command to have the IVR bot wait a few seconds before hanging up the call. Let's have the bot wait for just 3 seconds. That should be it. Let's try running the script now. Whenever we debug an IVR, we need to make a phone call to interact with it. There are 2 available numbers we can call to test the IVR, a Brazilian phone number and an American one. I am in Brazil, but I'm calling the American phone number by using the Zoiper VoIP app. When we make the call, we need to use this code down here to start the interaction. We could also use the Zoiper app to have the bot call us, but we're not going to do that right now. Okay, so let's make the call and see if the bot will speak what we wanted it to.
Type the access code.
Hello world. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It worked, but how about we try something else? Let's try using another speech engine. First, let's remove the Watson engine command. Now let's use the create Google speech engine command. The process here is very similar to when we use the Watson engine. First, we set up the language for the speech engine. Then we choose a voice. let's use the EN US Standard E, female voice. Then we store the speech engine in the same variable we used for the Watson engine before. Okay, now we're going to test if the IVR voice has indeed changed. The procedure is the same as before.
Type the access code. Hello world, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Alright, it worked. The bot said the same thing as before, but now with a different voice, meaning it actually used the Google speech engine this time. This was only a hello world demonstration. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into this. We could also use a knowledge base in WDG Automation Studio to create our bot. Here we have a simple knowledge base created for demonstration purposes. This KB is a simple Excel file, created with the specific structure necessary to use it with WDG Studio. We can import this Excel file into WDG Studio to use it with our bots. First, let's navigate to the Tools ribbon in WDG Studio, then click on Machine Learning Model Builder at the top of the screen. Here, we first need to name this machine learning model. Let's give it the same name we gave the knowledge base. Now we define the language, which will be US English as usual. Then we pick an algorithm for this model. We intend to use a knowledge base, so let's pick that algorithm. There are two choices here. We'll pick version 2 of the knowledge base algorithm. On options, we'll use the Use Synonyms option. Next up, we need to pick that Excel file where we created the knowledge base in. We just need to open the file here and it will be imported into WDG Studio when we click Save. The next step would be to train the knowledge base. To do that, we simply need to click on Knowledge Base Training, located right under the Machine Learning Model Builder button. Here, we can choose which version of the knowledge base we want to train. Every time we make a change on the knowledge base and save it, a new version is automatically generated. Training a knowledge base on WDG Studio is very simple. First, we type a message here, and the KB will answer us according to how we defined it when we created it. To the right, we can see the Related Questions window, which shows us questions which would result in a similar response from the KB. To the left, we can see the score for the currently selected answer, its tags, and its context. We can search the knowledge base for another answer, edit the current answer, or even add a whole new answer here. Let's try using this knowledge base to build a simple IVA. We have here a semi-built script. Let's insert the Answer Question in Chat command so we can see how to use that KB here. As you can see, one of the required input parameters here is the knowledge base. First, we insert a variable here in the text parameter which will contain the user response. Then we use the KB we've created earlier. There is only one KB available for picking here, but if we had more created in WDG Studio, we could pick whichever one we wanted here. Then we define the version number of the KB we want to use, the minimum score we want for the answers, and last but not least, we store the answer the IVA gives the user in a variable, and the answer tags in another variable. Now we will use a while loop to make the interaction between the user and the bot continue as long as the answer tag contained in the variable tags do not contain the tag end. Then we use an if statement to have the bot say goodbye to the user before the interaction ends, when the answer tag in the tags variable do contain the tag end. If we don't use this if statement to have the bot say the goodbye message, the interaction would end abruptly when the tag end showed up, as the while loop would stop. As long as the end answer tag doesn't show up, the interaction between the user and the IVA will continue going back and forth. We will also add a delay before the end of the script, so the IVA waits a few seconds before hanging up on the user. Okay, now we're going to try interacting with the IVA. This intelligent virtual assistant was trained specifically to track and cancel orders. We can also solve some doubts the client may have, but let's focus on tracking and canceling orders. First, we'll interact with the IVA via chat. Let's run the script and see if we can have the virtual assistant track an order. Alright, it worked. The IVA managed to track the order. We could ask the bot for something else, but let's stop the interaction for now. We should try interacting with it again, but now through interactive voice response. First, we need to change the script a little to turn it into an IVR unit. This is basically the same process we did before when we were making the Hello World script with just some minor differences. Let's speed things up a little so we can get to the important difference. Okay, here, the biggest difference is that we're adding another if statement. This if statement is used to make the bot hold up the call with the bot start on hold command. So, if during the conversation an order cancel is requested, this if will be triggered and the bot start on hold command puts the call on hold for a bit while the order canceling is being executed. In this scenario, in the message parameter, we use the default message. When we insert the default text on this parameter, the IVR plays a little song while the call is on hold. After waiting for 10 seconds, the call is resumed by the end wait command. Okay, so we're going to run the script and interact with the IVA via IVR and see if we can have the virtual assistant track an order and eventually cancel the same order. We're calling the American phone number again. We don't really need to change anything here, as the number is displayed here only to inform you of what number you need to dial to test the interactive voice response unit.
Type the access code.
Hi, wait a moment, we will start our communication.
Hi.
Hello, I will be your virtual assistant for today. How may I help you?
Where's my order?
What is the tracking code for your order?
It's PH990509.
Thank you. Just a minute while I track your order. The order from tracking code number PH990509 is currently awaiting shipment to the chosen delivery address. The estimated time of arrival is 6 days.
That's too long.
We're sorry for the delay. We've been having some logistic issues lately. Can I help you with something else?
Yes, I want to cancel my order.
Okay. May I ask the reason for the cancellation?
The delay.
Okay. I will need to confirm some information for security reasons. Please, what is your full name?
My full name is John Doe.
What is your date of birth?
December 20th, 1988.
Thank you for the information. Just a minute, please. Your order has been successfully canceled. May I help you with something else?
No, thank you.
Thank you for your patience. Should you need anything, just contact us again.
Alright, so that worked. And with this, we about covered the very basics of the WDG IVA. This whole scenario is a very basic one. There are far more possibilities with the WDG Intelligent Virtual Assistant. For the next video, we'll take a look at the basics of the WDG dashboard.